VA3JPX with the TransCanada Net. Over to you, Emil.
Okay, the TransCanada Net has started. I don't know why it stopped, but started all over again. So let's see what happens this time around.
Yeah, very good. Good question. I started at the age of, I think I was on stage, probably 13, 14 years old. Was in the Air Cadet Band, and then when I was 15, I lied about my age and joined the military band. And there I played third trombone in the 45-piece marching band. The same year, there was a rock and roll group playing all the Chicago music, and they needed a trombone player. So we toured Atlantic Canada when I was 15, and it was like being a Canadian Idol, to tell you the truth, at least for me. Then after that, the gig was gone. They moved out to Ontario, and I got back into the rock and roll band and done it for about 45 years, and now it's been 20 years since I played my last gig. Over.
Well, I guess that would be semi-professional then, Emil. Interesting. Yeah, I took trombone when I was in junior high school, and the reason why I chose that instrument is because all the good ones were taken. I originally wanted electric guitar or guitar, and that wasn't there, and then that was already taken, and then piano was my second, and that was already taken. And then out of the woodwinds, saxophone was taken, so I was stuck with the trombone. And we only had one drummer, so I couldn't do drums, right? That's kind of a bummer. Drummer on the bummer, bummer on the drummer. There you go. Thanks, Emil, for checking in. And before we continue, I just want to say, and I forgot to say this earlier, if anybody uses NetLogger, I use that. It's not a requirement for net control stations in the Canada Hub for the TransCanada Net to use NetLogger, but I choose to use it. So if you guys want to follow along and are running NetLogger, just look for TransCanada Net, and then you can see who has already checked in and who's coming up next on the roster during the check-in calls. So let's see. Let's open it up to Ontario, Quebec, and the Maritime provinces. Please call now with your call sign phonetically, twice if you don't mind, followed by your name. This is VA3, Juliet Papa X-ray, net control. Victor Echo 3, Romeo Whiskey, Juliet. Victor Echo 3, Victor Echo Golf, 3, Victor Golf. Alpha 3, you, name is Rick. Okay, let's hold it right there. I've got you, Chris, VE3RWJ. Afternoon, and the station VE3 Victor Golf. That station doubled with another station. So the VE3 Victor Golf, can you go ahead and correct me on the call sign?
Yes, good evening. Good afternoon, Joel. This is VE3 Victor. No, let's try this all again. Victor Echo 3, Golf, Victor Golf. VE3 GVG.
Okay. That time. Victor Echo 3, Golf, Victor Golf. I remember the call sign from before. So I don't remember the name, but it happens, right? What can I tell you? Okay, so we got Chris on board, VE3RWJ, we got VE3GVG. Any other stations? Ontario, Quebec, and Maritime provinces. Please call now with your call sign phonetically twice and your name.
Victor Alpha 3, Echo Whiskey Victor. Victor Alpha 3, Echo Whiskey Victor. The name is Ernest, St. Andrews, West Ontario.
Delta X-ray Whiskey, Devon.
Okay, we'll hold it right there. So we got to Victor Echo 1 Delta X-ray whiskey. Is it Dan as in Delta Echo November, or is it Bravo Echo November? No, Gavin. Delta Echo Victor Indigo November. Okay, Devin, we got you there. Okay, thank you. We've talked before. I think you checked into my first net here on TransCanada Net, so I should have remembered. But anyway, it is what it is. Up to the top of this list, we'll go Victor Echo 3, Romeo Whiskey Juliet, Chris, the guy with the best sounding audio in amateur radio as far as I'm concerned. Chris, come on in. And today's question is, do you play a musical instrument, which I think you do, considering your backgrounds, and do you consider yourself a hobbyist, semi-pro, or professional? Come on in, Chris.
Thanks for that. First of all, I've heard people with better audio than mine, but I do work at it, though. I'm always tweaking it. Yep, I play guitar. I went to college for jazz years ago, but I play lots of different kinds of music. All electric guitar. I'm not really an acoustic guy. And definitely a casual player. This is a good time to plug my net, which is Monday nights right here on the Canada Hub and other places, called the Sounds Good Net, where we talk about all things music and audio. So if you're a music fan, an audiophile, anything like that, check out the Sounds Good Net. Mondays at 8 Eastern. That's 5 Pacific. Thanks. Back to Net Control VE3RWJ.
All right, Chris. Yeah, I heard your net last week, and I was going to check in, but it was at about my bedtime. And I had a really good question to throw to the group, which I won't bring that up here, but maybe we can talk another time about it. It's regarding audio gear and some odd behavior in a Windows environment. Well, that explains it right there. Windows environment and audio gear. Come on, man. I should have figured that out years ago. I didn't. Anyway, thanks, Chris. Nice to have you on board this afternoon. Victor Echo 3 Golf. Victor Golf, you're up next. You play the electric twanger. You play drums. You play woodwinds. You play any musical instruments. Come on in.
Yes, good afternoon. This is VE3 Golf, Victor Golf. The name is Cam, Canada, America, Mexico, short for Cameron, and the location is Belleville. And as to musical instruments, I'm the drummer. All through high school, I was into drumming type of thing. So, but only temporarily played in a band a little bit, and anyhow, it was fun time while we had it. But because I don't drive, I'm similar to Chris. Actually, I don't drive, so so everyone had to come to where the drummer was, and that kind of worked and kind of didn't. So anyhow, so casual drummer, but I'm still drumming to myself. So, but anyway, there you go. But still do a lot of just personal drumming on myself, on any furniture or anything. But anyway, that's the way she goes. But I've always been in tune with music and stuff. So yeah, a lot of music I like to still listen to. So back to Net Control, VE3GV.
I'm tapping on stuff, trying to keep time, counting time signatures and, stuff like that. I've always been like that ever since I was a teenager, I started Rush at a young age, and of course anybody that listens to progressive rock, and especially Rush, it tends to be a furniture tapper. And you know, I can play just about any Rush song on 5 fingers, and that doesn't include thumbs. Four fingers on one hand and the index on the other, and there you go. I got the old perk covered. There you go. All right, thanks for joining us today. Next up, Victor Echo 1, Delta X-Ray Whiskey. Devin, you play any musical instruments there, Devin? Come on in.
No, unfortunately not. Net control. I never ever learned. The closest I've ever played to an instrument was turning on your radio on and off. Unfortunately, I would have liked to have learned someday, but just never got around to it. Back over to you.
I think that's where it all starts, Devin. That AM transistor radio when we were kids, you know. It's like Rick Emmett in Triumph, you know. He wrote that song, Magic Power. It was originally called Magic Power of the Music, but it was too long of a name, so he just called it Magic Power. And he wrote that song based on a little transistor radio that he got when he was just a tiny little kid. You know, and he put it under his pillow at night, and he would listen to radio stations around the Toronto area, and that's what got him into music, and of course the rest is history, right? So, radio, don't worry about that. I think that's how it all began, you know, from musicians to amateur radio operators, right? It all began with turning a radio on at least once. Thanks, Devin. Okay, let me just recycle here before I give another call. Stand by. Okay, this is the TransCanada Net, and my name is James. Victor Alpha 3 Juliet Papa X-Ray is my call sign. I'm located in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, and we are in the middle of the TransCanada Net, which is held weekly on the Canada Hub. So if you're coming in via repeater, hotspot, or some sort of a node, or coming in directly via your computer or your own hotspot, this is what we're doing. And today's question of the week is, do you play a musical instrument? And if you do, what level are you at? Are you a hobbyist in that musical instrument? Are you semi-professional? Are you professional? That's the question, and we're looking for your answer as well. So we're going to give a call one more time for stations Ontario and East. So that's Ontario, Quebec, and the Maritime Provinces. Please call now with your call sign phonetically twice, followed by your name. This is Net Control.
Victor Echo 3, Juliet Golf Kilo, Gary Victim.
Victor Alpha 3, Echo Whiskey Victor. Victor Alpha 3, Echo Whiskey Victor. Ernest, St. Andrews, West Ontario.
Right there, we got you, Yuri, Victor Echo 3, Juliet Golf Kilo in Picton. And we got Ernest, my good pal, Ernest out of St. Andrews, Ontario, Victor Alpha 3, Echo Whiskey Victor. And I know the answer to Ernest, and I know his answer to the question, but when it comes to Ernest, we're going to ask it again. Stand by, boys. Any other stations, Ontario and East? That's Ontario, Quebec, and the Maritime Provinces. Please call now with your call sign phonetically twice, followed by your name.
Victor Echo 3, India Uniform. Victor Echo 3, India Uniform.
And Victor Echo 1, Delta Alpha Bravo. That's Victor Echo 1, Delta Alpha Bravo. And the name is
orderly. We got your Rick, Victor Echo 3 India uniform, as well as Victor Echo 1, Delta Alpha Bravo Doug. Okay, we'll go with that short list. Yuri, Victor Echo 3, Juliet Golf Kilo. Yuri, do you play musical instruments? And if so, are you a hobbyist, semi-pro, or professional? What's your answer to today's question? Over to you. Victor Echo 3, Juliet Golf Kilo. Yuri, in Picton, are you still with us? It's your time. VE3, Juliet Golf Kilo. Yuri, are you with us? This is Net Control.
Yes, I'm here. Victor Echo 3, Juliet Golf Kilo. You threw me with the pronunciation of my name. I guess I said it too quickly. It's Gary, Golf Alpha Romeo Yankee. Golf Alpha Romeo Yankee. So that's why my ears didn't perk up when you called me. As far as musical instruments go, the bucket list item, when I turned 50, I did 5 years of lessons with a very nice teacher once a week. And at the end of 5 years, I'm happy to say I can read basic music. I can almost play something, but I still, to be blunt, suck at it. And some people just don't have the natural rhythm or ear to play an instrument, and I'm one of those. So although I kind of accomplished my goal, nobody's going to be inviting me into their band anytime soon. Back to the control.
Okay, Gary. I'm just poking at you. Okay, Gary. These digital modes, even though we're kind of like analog, but it's digital, I mean, there's conversion at some point. Anyway, we do have another station keying up at the same time. Anybody else there that needs the... Sorry, is there anybody else that needs Canada Hub? This is VA3 JPX, and this is the TransCanada Net. Anybody need use of the Canada Hub? Okay, all right. We did have another station key up there. I think it was in the VE4 land. Okay, thanks, Gary. I guess I should answer my question, too, real quickly. I play guitar. Bass, I play drums, and I play keyboards. And I can kind of play the trombone, kind of, but not really. I guess if you were to ask me to play something on the trombone, it would probably be that, The Price is Right. Dun, 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 that I could play that. I can play that. See, I'm professional. There you go.
Oh.
Thanks, Gary. Thanks for chiming in. We do have another station keying up on the Freestar network, so we'll give another, before we move forward, we'll give another call for stations across the Atlantic. And net managers, if you can just keep an eye on that dashboard, we got some noise coming across there. Ernest, Victor Alpha 3, Echo Whiskey Victor. Ernest from St. Andrews, Ontario. Hey man, nice to have you on board, and I know the answer to Ernest's question, or our question. Ernest is going to tell us his answer, but I already know it, but I won't spill the beans. Ernest, come on in, and welcome to the TransCanada Net.
Hello all. James, thanks for bringing me in. Victor Alpha 3, Echo Whiskey Victor, Ernest in St. Andrews West. Yeah, I've been a musician since the 5th grade. I think if you have the title of professional, that means you get paid. So, so yes, I was paid to play music before, mostly in churches, and a couple of little jazz ensembles there in Shreveport, Louisiana, at a Centenary Bar and Grill. So that was always fun. So I've been professional, semi-professional, and a hobbyist. And like I said, if professional means you get paid, I get that. Just like the first gentleman that logged in, I was also in the military band at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. I was in the military band there. We had it easy. You know, it was great. We just did formations and stuff all day, while the other people, did all the hard work and sweated. We sat there in our pretty uniforms and just did those things. Currently, though, even though I play almost all instruments because I went to school at Northwestern State University to be a band director, but what I have started playing in my later years is the English handbells. And I played that in 3 churches in Ottawa: St. Andrew's United, Emmanuel United, and the other church there in Canada, the Presbyterian church there. So yeah, I can play handbells really good, and if y'all ever want to see it, just go to my YouTube channel, and you'll see this big, tall guy around all these small ladies ringing my bells. Back over to you, James, V3JPX, VA3EWV.
That's funny, Ernest. Yeah, you are tall. You and I haven't met. I'm sure we will. I'm about 6 feet, maybe 6. Well, it all depends. Well, you know what? It all depends on which store I'm walking out of. I could be 5'5", I could be 6'5". It all depends on which store I'm walking out of. But no, I'm about 6'1", maybe 6'2" or 3" if I'm wearing my winter boots. So there you go. But yeah, you look like a pretty tall guy. So interesting. Yeah, bells. That's interesting. I don't know how all that works. I guess you probably carry 2 bells, and each one is of a different tone. Obviously, maybe one might be a C and the other one a D or something like that. I don't know how it works, but pretty cool. Thanks, Ernest. Let's see who we have up next. We got Rick, Victor Echo 3, India uniform. Rick, do you play the electric twanger? What do? You slap the drums there? Tell us, do you have any ability to play a musical instrument? Come on in.
Well, I have some fun with a couple of instruments, keyboards and strings, violin, and just considered it a hobbyist more than anything, I guess. Played with a local string ensemble here located in the Pickering Ajax area for a number of years. So just a bit of fun, keeps the mind moving and keeps the fingers moving. My prime instrument is the keyboard, so I've played that for years and years and years. So there you go. That's the extent of my musical side of things, I guess. There you go. Back to you, V3IU.
Okay, Rick. Cool. Well, piano was the first musical instrument that I learned, and I learned at age 4 and 5, and I got my full-size piano, like standard upright piano, when I was 5 years old. But the neighbors didn't care for it by any means, but I had one. So there you go. But yeah, still till today, I have a keyboard. I used to have some pretty decent keyboards, you know. I used to have a Yamaha EX7 and a Roland Jupiter JXP8 or JX8P, I think it is. I had one of those for a short period of time. Nice instruments. So, yeah, I wish I still had those, but anyway. Thanks, Rick. And Doug, you're last on my list before we call in for more check-ins. Doug, Victor Echo 1, Delta Alpha Bravo. Do you play any musical instruments? And if you do, are we going to read your name and any musical credits? Over to you.
Victor Echo 1, Delta Alpha Bravo here. It's Doug in Mirror Machine, New Brunswick. And no, you're not going to read my name in any musical credits. No, I don't think so. It's strange, though. It's in my blood, I guess. My father had his own orchestra back in the 50s, and his instrument was the stand-up bass for the musical instrument, but music. All right, back to you. Do you want the AB?
All right, Doug. Well, thanks for joining us this afternoon. Really enjoying this net. You know, this is my second time hosting the net, and my first time, you know, I had some struggles, but this week is going by really, really well. So thank you for being a part of it. Okay, we're at the bottom of the list, and we're about to open it up. So to the rest of Canada. But I do want to include in this last call for Ontario and East. I want to make it Ontario East and across the Atlantic, because I think we have some stations in perhaps maybe United Kingdom that normally check in, which haven't yet. So I'd like to open it up Ontario East and across the Atlantic. Please call now phonetically twice and with your call sign as well as your name.
Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet Whiskey. Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet Whiskey. Name is Chris.
Victor Echo 3, Alpha Papa Foxtrot. Victor Echo 3, America, Portugal, France, Jerry in Belleville.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, we got Chris and Jerry. Chris, you're next up. Do you play a musical instrument? And if you do you play it as a hobby? Are you semi-pro? Are you professional and just manage to fit amateur radio into your professional life? Kind of like what's his name from the Eagles there? What do you say there? What's Joe Walsh? Yeah, he's a ham, but he's also, you know, a professional musician. So, what do you say there, Chris? I guess I should say. Did I say Jerry? No, I said Chris. Anyway, VA3CJW, Chris. What do you say there, music-wise?
Yeah, good afternoon. I didn't catch your name, but good afternoon to you and to everyone else on the net today. Or good morning, depending on whereabouts you are. Unfortunately, no, I do not play a musical instrument. I'd love to, but never really learned to read the music. However, I'm very fortunate. I am surrounded by music in my house. I have 3 adult children, all of whom play various instruments, and my wife is also a piano player. So, although I don't play myself, fortunately I'm surrounded by it and enjoy it every day. VA3CJW.
Okay, Chris. Cool. Well, I was kind of like that. I mean, my mom played piano, albeit she only played 2 songs over and over and over again. You know, but at least it was kind of there, right? And my dad played guitar, and I think he played saxophone, but I wasn't around during that time frame when he played either of those instruments. So, but I know what you're talking about. You know, having somebody in the house who plays music is a huge influence on you. Thanks, Chris. And next up, before we open it up, Victor Echo 3 Alpha Papa Foxtrot. Chris. No, Jerry. Maybe I should have a beer. What do you think? Jerry, do you play any musical instruments, or do you?
Well, gee, if you're going to have a beer, yeah, I play an instrument. I was lucky. Do you know the Four Lads or anybody like that?
No, Jerry, I don't. But you said you play an instrument, and I mentioned beer, so I guess you play the bartender?
Yeah, I can play the bartender pretty well, up until a point of the day, and then I fall asleep. But yeah, I play piano. I was instrumental in becoming a singer because I had a very soprano voice when I was a young boy, and Michael's choir school, and from there until about age 13, I sang at weddings almost every Saturday by myself. I would sing Ave Maria, and then my voice cracked at around 13, and I knew I wasn't going to sing again. But well, we all learned to play the piano. We had a good time. I still have a piano in the house here, and I thump around on it once in a while. I hardly use any music. I can play most songs almost by ear, knowing what notes to press and chords, and away I go. That's my dilemma. Go ahead. I didn't get your name. Go ahead.
Yeah, no problem, Jerry. My name is James, Juliet, Alpha, Mike, Echo, Sierra, and my call sign is Victor Alpha 3, Juliet, Papa, X-Ray, VA3JPX. I'm located in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, on the west side of Ottawa, in what used to be known as Canada. But in the early 2000s, Canada had merged with the city of Ottawa. Now it's just one big cluster, you know what. So they call it a super city, but I don't know if you want to call it that, really. All right, Jerry, thanks for joining us on the TransCanada Net. Now we're going to open it up to the rest of Canada, and the only thing that I ask are three things. Number one, you say your call sign phonetically twice, followed by your name, and when you're called in, let me know, do you play a musical instrument? It could be any musical instrument, and if you do, is it basically a hobby level, semi-pro, or pro? So let's see who we got coming up next. Anybody? Come on in. It's the back and 3 JPX.
Echo 6, Whiskey Lima. Victor Echo 6, Whiskey Lima. Larry in Lethbridge.
Victor Echo 4, Echo Victor November. Victor Echo 4, Echo Victor November, Evan in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Victor Yankee 1, Mike Golf Sierra. PY1 MGS. Michael in on the rest of Canada.
Victor Echo 4, Golf Whiskey Sierra. Victor Echo 4, Golf Whiskey Sierra. George and Brandon.
Okay, we'll hold it right there. So in this run, I've got Larry, Victor Echo 6, Whiskey Lima. I got Evan, Victor Echo Victor November. The station after Evan was quite noisy, so you are question mark at this point in time. I'll call for you in just one sec. We've got Mike. Hey, Mike, fellow net control station, VY1 MGS, and we got George, Victor Echo 4, Golf Whiskey Sierra. Question mark station that was between Evan and Mike. Can you please try again phonetically twice, followed by your name? Yeah, not making it. Whatever that is, you're coming in on the Victor Echo 4 Mike Romeo Sierra link into Canada Hub from the Winnipeg. So whoever that is, tell you what, try another position, and I'll give you another chance in a little bit. and we'll see if we can get you in there. I really want everybody to have a fair chance of getting into the net today. So try moving a bit, see if you can get into your node or your repeater a little bit better, and then we'll give you another shot at it. Larry, Victor Echo 6 Whiskey Lima. Larry, do you play any musical instruments? And if so, what is your skill level?
Good afternoon, James, and everyone on net. Actually, I do. About 7 years ago, I played the accordion, and just years ago, I took up the keyboard, and I'm definitely not professional. Very much a hobby, and really enjoy it, along with playing vinyl records. So, anyway, just really good fun playing it, and good relaxation and therapy, I guess, if you will. And I'll be 83 end of May, so I don't think I'll ever make professional. You never know. It depends on what professional is. That's all I have. So everyone take care and keep well. 86 Whiskey Lima.
Okay, Larry, well, let me tell you something. You sound fantastic for that age. I don't know if it's what's in your drinking water or what, but whatever you're doing, it's working. You sound excellent. Fantastic. Thanks for joining us this afternoon, and hopefully we'll catch you on next week's net as well, next Sunday. I won't be at control. Somebody else will, but hopefully you'll join us. Thank you, Larry. Evan, Victor Echo 4, Echo Victor November. Do you play a musical instrument, Evan? And if so, what is your skill level? Come on in.
Good morning, everybody. This is Victor Echo 4, Echo Victor November. Name's Evan. I'm here in, for now, nice Winnipeg, Manitoba. Yeah, I do play a musical instrument. I actually play a couple. First one I play, I've been playing the trumpet for the last couple years. Just for school, so not like anything professional or fancy. I'm not terrible at it. And for the last little bit, I've actually started learning drums and a little bit some stuff like that. So I've played a little bit of snare drum and some bass drum for a couple bands I do on my free time. So that's pretty much it for my musical skill level. I don't know. I think I'm okay at it. Other than that, not much.
Hey, you know what, Evan, that's okay too, you know. I play a whole bunch of instruments, but I don't do any of them very well, you know. I think piano and guitar is probably the best I can do, other than the instruments that I play. But, you know what, at least you try, right? You know, and some people, they're really bad, and some people are really good, you know. But at least you give it an effort, and I think that's what's most important. Thank you, Evan. Hopefully we'll catch you next week on the net. Next up is Mike, fellow net control station, Victor Yankee 1, Mike Gulf Sierra. Mike, what's going on today up in your neck of the woods? And do you play a musical instrument? Come on in.
The VY1 MGS returning. Hey, greetings, James, and everyone on that. 6 degrees Charlie. Nice blue skies, lots of sun. We're headed for 14 degrees Charlie, it looks like. My wife and I are enjoying that. I play the drums. I play semi-pro. I haven't played for a while, but I practice instruments. I never played to pay my rent or fill my tummy, but I've had lots of opportunity to be able to play a lot of music in a lot of venues for a lot of different people. Great thing. And my wife plays piano. She's quite proficient as well. She doesn't seem to agree. She's not taking my compliment much. You hear her laughing out loud. She's so humble. Really appreciate the net. Victor Yankee 1 Mike Golf Sierra 73.
That was funny. I could hear her laughing in the background. That made the log right there. If I could add a secondary log to this net, it would be the I guess we'll call it the peanut gallery, maybe. I don't know. That was awesome. Thanks, Mike, and good afternoon to your better half as well. George, Victor Echo 4, Golf Whiskey Sierra, you're at the bottom of the list right now. You're up next. Do you play musical instruments? And if you do, are you a hobbyist, semi-pro, or professional? Come on in. This is VA3 JPS Net Control.
Yeah, good afternoon, James, and good afternoon and good morning to whoever else can copy. Well, let's see, I retired in 2013, figured I would take up something, so I ordered a violin off Amazon. I think it cost me a whole $35. When that showed up, we played with that for a couple of days, said, oh well, put it back in the case, and then I took up ham radio, and that's about where the music has ended. Back to that.
That's a good one.
You say violin, and I think violin and or fiddle, and that song from the 90s, Cotton Eye Joe. Remember that one, Cotton Eye Joe? Oh, you bet. Could you? Probably not, right? Anyway, thanks for joining us, George, this week. Nice to have you on board. And let's see here. We're at the bottom of the list. There was that one station, before I call in more, there was that one station that was having trouble getting in about 5 minutes ago. I want to give you the opportunity to try again, see if you moved locations, and see if you can get into your nodes. That station from a few minutes ago, please call now with your call sign phonetically twice, followed by your name. Okay, sorry, you're not making it. So just so you know, on the dashboard it shows that you're coming in on Victor Echo 4 Mike MBX Hub, Mike Bravo X-Ray Hub, or Mike Bravo Hub from Winnipeg. So I don't know if that's you coming in or somebody coming in on that node. But you're not making the node. Tell you what, try again next time. We're going to call in all of Canada now, but you can try at any point in time. Just throw your call sign in, and we'll bring you in. Okay, we're opening up to anywhere in Canada. Northern Canada, left, right, up, down, sideways, diagonal, wherever you are, come on in. And then we're going to open it up worldwide. Any stations in Canada, this is VA3 JPX Net Control for the TransCanada Net.
Victor Alpha 7 Lima VA7SL.
V6 Delta Zulu, V6 Delta Zulu. Gary in Edmonton.
Okay, Scott, we got you, VA7SL. Gary, I got you, VE6DZ. There was another station in there as well at the same time as Scott. The other station, try again phonetically and with your call sign slowly, followed by your name.
Yeah, Victor Echo 7 November Zulu Adrian.
Victor Echo 4 Delta Bravo Zulu. Victor Echo 4 Delta Bravo Zulu. David from Winnipeg.
All right, hold it right there. Okay, Adrian, I got you VE7NZ, and David, VE4 Bravo, Alpha Bravo Zulu. Any other stations? Okay, hold it right there. Victor Echo 6, Papa Lima Whiskey. Did I get that one correct? USL, Victor Echo 6, Papa Lima Whiskey. Okay, I got you in there. Your signal's really weak into your node. I didn't get the name, but I did get the call sign. But I'll get you in just 1 second. Any other stations anywhere in Canada? This is VA3 JPX Net Control. All right. The tag game continues, and Scott, he's got the big target on him. VA7SL, Scott, you're up next. Musical instrument, electric twanger, harmonica. Do you bang the drum all day? Do you play any musical instruments? And if you do, what's your skill level? Are you a hobbyist, or semi-pro, or pro? Come on in, Scott.
Thanks, James. You did a great job, by the way. By the way, VA7SL, that you get the odd spurious key up on the Manitoba hub. They're working on it. So if you just hear this little, that's all it is. I don't think there's anybody doing that. It's just an issue they have. Known issue, so I would just ignore it. I used to have a drum set. Used to, like, decades ago. I never played in a band. I just used to do it to exercise, to go and play the thrash, and get a good workout, and that's all I ever did. Now much to my family's chagrin, I'm a professional whistler. One thing I can do, I can pick up anything. I can whistle pretty good. I'm very, very well at it, but that's it. Nobody cares about that. Nobody wants to hear anybody whistle. Nobody. Back to Net. And NZ, he's a pretty decent little musician. He makes, Adrian can professionally do elevator music, and the kind of music that you listen to at spas while you're having a massage. That's the kind of music that Adrian's good at. Back to Net VA7SL.
Nice. Yeah, well, I don't know. You say professional whistler. I guess so, eh? I don't know. I think music should be more prominent in schooling. Even if you're stuck with the worst instrument in the class, they should at least give you that, I find lately in schools, and at least when my kids were going to school, music was one of those things you if you wanted to, you could take it, but it wasn't mandatory. And it wasn't really promoted either, So, anyway, thanks, Scott. Gary, VE6 Delta Zulu. Gary apparently is known. He's known on the net from earlier today, and he's also known on the internet for stealing really large antennas. He stole a 200-foot. This is Gary, okay? Gary out in Alberta. He stole a 200-foot antenna, an AM antenna for an AM transmitter site, and he stole the transmitter with it too. So, Gary, you should tell everybody on the net how you did it, because apparently it's a big secret. And do you play any musical instruments, Gary? Over to you.
Well, I'm not giving no secrets, so you are a co-conspirator, so I guess you're involved too, so you should know yourself. In any event, I was the lead singer of my own rock slash a little bit of folksy, like Blue Rodeo style, and that sort of thing, and did some of that meatloaf stuff in the early days. So we were a touring band. I played a little bit of guitar just to make talk box work. We had a lead guitarist, rhythm guitarist, bass guitarist, and a drummer, and an occasional keyboardist as we needed one and stuff in my band, and we toured for 4 years. So, but the talk box, I learned enough of the guitar to make the talk box work. And if you're familiar with a talk box, you plug in a guitar into the talk box, it goes into the amp, and you can switch it in. The little hose runs up to your mouth. You hit a string on your guitar. It goes into the talk box, comes out the little tube, and you have your mic and hose right close together. And you mount the words, kind of something like Frampton does with his Fram tone, which I believe was a Bob Heil invention, the talk box. So that was my experience of guitars. I was the lead vocalist for my band, and of course all the names have been changed to protect the innocent. In any event, so that was quite an adventure too. Spent 4 years touring, spent 4 years with it as our only source of income. So I guess that puts me in the professional end of things. As far as anything else goes, well, lots of hosting and that sort of thing of various events, and always under a pseudonym, of course. You don't want to give your real name, or you end up with troubles. They're knocking on your door every time you want to turn around. In any event, it was a fun time. I then went on to other things and made a lot more money doing it too. So one thing about a touring band, even if you're good, it doesn't mean you're gonna make a ton of money. You just wanted to let it reset. Sad to hear about MFJ. Hopefully there's a bunch of rich Canadians that can pool their money, get down there and buy out certain portions like Cushcraft, KLM, Ameritron, all those different aspects that were under the MFJ umbrella since it's closing down. They're going to sell off what they have, I guess, if nobody buys out any portion. And then they're going to call it quits by the end of the summer, I guess. So anyhow, everybody check out my QRZ page, lots of good stuff. And Scott, why don't you whistle us Wind of Change by the Scorpions? I'm sure you can do that one. I mean, that's an easy one. From Scorpions, Wind of Change, the whistling part at the beginning. B6 easy.
Wow. You know what? If Scott does that, I'll pick up the Strat and I'll play the actual guitar part. Ugh, what a great song. Oh man, thanks, Gary. Thanks for just mentioning that song, because if you listen to Winds of Change, like that song has such an incredible guitar tone at the beginning. It's just, oh man, you get goosebumps every time I listen to it. Thanks, Gary. Adrian is up next. VE7 November Zulu, the Grand Poobah, the head cheese, the top dog, the guy that kind of makes it all happen. Adrian, I know you play musical instruments, so you're up next, man. Tell us, what do you do? What can you do? Are you pro or no?
VE7NZ. Good morning, everyone. I played piano I wanted to play piano at 4, but they wouldn't let me play till I was 6 because my hands were too small. And then I studied classical piano and then got into guitar in high school, playing a lot of classic rock and AC/DC and all that kind of stuff. Despite Scott's comments, I still do that. I play on the guitar, like playing Muse and Metallica and all the heavy stuff on my Strat. let's see, I've been in a number of bands over the years. Not right now. Well, kind of not right now. I have my own project going on. You can find a video of Apollo's Crush, like Apollo's Crush medley, like Apollo, like the god. Apollo's Crush medley. You'll see, that was a pretty good pop band we had going to Vancouver, playing all the casinos and weddings and corporate events and things. That was fun. And then more recently, since COVID, I've stopped doing that, and I've got a project called Psychic Fish. And I have a couple of videos of songs that I wrote and played all the instruments on except for the drums under Psychic Fish on YouTube. And quite a variety of stuff. As Scott mentioned, I've kind of done some of that world music stuff. I've done some funky stuff. Right now I'm working on a fairly heavy guitar-oriented rock song. So having a lot of fun. Mostly professionally, mostly playing the bass, though. That seems to be the instrument that they think is I can do the best, I guess. So yeah, I guess it's professional if you're getting paid and paying taxes, but couldn't have made a living at it at this stage of my life. Back to that, VE7NZ.
Awesome. Yeah, well, you know what? There are a lot of musicians that have chosen to just go and do everything themselves now. Wolfgang Van Halen, Eddie's son, he's like, yeah, he has a band for touring, but he actually, when he records every instrument himself. That's it. He's a drummer, he's a bassist, keyboardist, guitarist, vocalist, background vocalist. He does everything, and I think a lot of musicians are doing that now. And if they have to tour, then they'll hire people to do that. Because this way, I guess you have control over everything, right? There's no opportunity for creativity differences, right? You just kind of, you're the boss, man. It is what it is. Kind of cool. Thanks, Adrian. And let's see, David, VE4. Well, sorry about that. I moved my mouse and I dropped the BTG. I guess Adrian and Scott, we need to maybe perhaps find another application for this. This IDX RPT is funky. We'll call it. I moved my mouse, and next thing you know, I let go. Anyway, David, VE4 Delta Bravo Zulu. David, you're up next. Do you play a musical instrument? And if so, what's your skill level?
Thank you. I did once in high school bass, but not anymore. And then I found this rabbit hole called ham radio, so that's where most of my money is going to.
Okay. David, trust me, I know the drill. This hobby, I think it's going to get more expensive. And this, maybe we can have a round table after the net, but I'll be honest with you, with MFJ, close audience, and with other companies such as Kenwood, which has really slowed down in the amateur radio community. They don't have a lot of radios left, and it just keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller. I'm not quite sure what this hobby is going to be like, and if even 5 years from now, if it's going to be as affordable as it once was. I'm not saying it was ever really affordable, but of course we can talk about bail tags and stuff like that. But I think in the next 5 years, the amateur radio landscape, price-wise, is going to change dramatically, especially with MFJ shutting down. That's a big one. Anyway, thanks, David. Next up, Victor Echo 6, Papa Lima Whiskey. You're up next. Do you play musical instruments? And if so, what is it? And what level do you play at? Come on in.
Thanks
much. As far as musical instruments, I did play in high school in a band, in a concert band, and then I went on the road as a percussionist drummer and also play guitar and whatnot as well. So, pretty much music on the road back in the day, but here for what now. Otherwise, everyone have a good VE7NZ from Shore Park, Alberta. My name is Patrick. Victor Echo, take a pop on your way back to net control.
Okay, Patrick, we got you in the log with a name now. Your signal's a little bit better this time around. So thanks for joining us on this Sunday. Beautiful Sunday, by the way. At least here in Ontario, Ottawa. Nice weather, but I think we're headed towards a warm spell. It's gonna be warm next week or so. A little late to the game for that. Normally it's a lot warmer at this time of year. Thanks, Patrick. And we're at the bottom of the list, so I'm going to open it up worldwide. Sorry, I didn't bring in our friends to the south from the U.S. I'm going to update my flowchart for my next net control duties, which I think is probably in the next 30 days to maybe 40 days or so. I'm not quite sure. But I will change that. I think I need to implement the U.S. A little bit more broadly during the net. So we're going to open it up worldwide. Canada North, our friends to the south, and anybody anywhere, come on in with your call sign phonetically twice, please, followed by your name. This is VA3JPX. My name is James, and this is Net Control.
Victor Alpha 7, Mike Delta. Victor Alpha 7, Mike Delta, Dave.
Victor Alpha 7, Echo Quebec. Victor Alpha 7, Echo Quebec, Ray.
Victor Alpha 3, Hotel Echo Sierra, Mark.
Okay, we'll hold it right there. Dave, gotcha. Victor Alpha 7, Mike Delta. And Ray, we have you, Victor Alpha 7, Echo Quebec. Mark, Victor Alpha 3, Hotel Echo Sierra. Any other stations anywhere in the world? This is VA3JPX. Okay, there is a station trying. I heard Foxtrot, but you're quite noisy and you're not getting into your node. We'll call for check-ins once again, but I'm going to go to the top of this list. Dave, Victor Alpha 7, Mike Delta. Good. Well, it's morning for you. Do you play a musical instrument, Dave? And if so, are you a hobbyist, semi-pro, or pro? Come on in.
Well, hello, this is Victor Alpha 7, Mike Delta from Kelowna, BC. I would say I used to play one when I was 11 or 12 years old. Took many lessons on the guitar. My teacher one day, after 3 years of lessons, told me I couldn't keep the beat, carry a tune, whatever you want to call it. At that point in time, I put the guitar away. The unfortunate part of that is when my son turned about 15, he found it and began to play it by ear. And he has his own band. They've done some touring, but nothing professional, or too professional anyway. And thanks for the check-in and running the net, 7-3.
All right, Dave. Well, you know what? My kids tried music, and I told them, I said, you know what? Don't pick up a guitar and don't play piano first. If you can, do drums, and if to learn rhythm before you can learn anything else. Guess what? They play. One plays drums, one plays bass, and they do it relatively well. I mean, they're not, signing record contracts or anything, but it worked. So, thanks, Dave. Nice to have you on board this morning for you. Ray, you're up next. Victor Alpha 7 Echo Quebec. Ray, do you play the electric twanger, the harmonica, the drums? What is it? And what level are you at? Come on in.
Hi, good morning. Greetings from Salmon Arm. Yes, I do, actually. I play the tenor ukulele, which is a real instrument. People tend to think that ukuleles are associated with Tiny Tim, but we play some really serious music. And as far as level, we usually play at about 11. So back to you.
Yes. You know what? That reminds me of something, and I'll make this real quick. Mark, you're up next, by the way. VA3 Hotel Echo Sierra, you're up next. I had an opportunity to take a two-head Marshall, or a Marshall stack with a 100-watt head into a school gymnasium once when I was 19, just as a prop, because it was used for a Halloween kind of, presentation they were making or whatever. And somebody said, do you know anybody that has, guitar amps or something? And it came to me, and I said, well, yeah, I've got a full stack, 4 on the bottom, 4 on the top, and a 100-watt head. And they're like, okay, well, can we use it? I'm like, yeah, sure. And they weren't playing it. They were just going to use it as a prop. But I brought it over, and I brought my guitar. And let me tell you something. Have you ever played at full power with a 100-watt head and a Marshall stack in a school gymnasium? It's the best reverb you will ever encounter. It was fantastic. Anyway, thanks, Ray. Thanks for joining us this week. Mark, you're up next. VA3 Hotel Echo Sierra. Do you play a musical instrument? And if so, what is it? And what's your skill level?
Good afternoon, at Control, and all on that VA3 HES here in Mississauga. Well, as a kid, my older brother was a pretty decent drummer for an amateur, and that led to an interest in music, and I picked up the guitar, and I still only know the same maybe half dozen chords, but playing the guitar in a garage band led me to being the sound man, because I owned a PA, and every band I joined as a rhythm guitar player lasted about a week, and they're like, well, hey, you got a PA, right? Hi. So it's led to a 30-year-long career as an audio engineer in live sound and studio stuff. And I still only know the same 7 chords or 6 chords, and the most I ever get to play is a bit of a jam band at sound check, but it's fun when you get to be able to turn all the instruments up to 11 high. That's all for now. That Control, back to you.
Yeah, turning it to 11. Oh, man. I wish I could do this in my house. I live in an HOA. Well, in Canada, we call them condominium townhomes or garden homes. You're always attached to somebody. Luckily for me, I don't have anybody on one side, so, But even when I crank stuff up, it's always too loud, The neighbors bang on the wall, Then, when I see them outside, they're like, did you hear me? No, I was banging. But come on, man, give me a break. Anyway, okay, thanks, Mark. We're at the bottom of the list, so we'll get for final check-ins on this week's TransCanada Net. My name is James. My call sign, Victor Alpha 3 Julius Papa X-Ray. I'm in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. But we're going to take some more check-ins to close off this week's net. Anybody, anywhere, please call now with your call sign phonetically twice, as well as your name.
Kilo 6 Papa, Kilo Lima K6PKL, Bill.
Okay, we'll pause right there. Bill, is it Kilo 6 Papa Lima? Over?
Kilo 6, Papa, Kilo Lima, Papa kisses ladies. And I wanted to mention that I'm using the MFJ antenna analyzer right now. I picked up the swap yesterday. I picked up a couple commercial 2-meter antennas, actually 3 antennas, and so I'm doing some testing on them and cleaning them up and tuning and all that stuff. So get this, I got $140 antenna. Bucks a piece. What a deal. I got 3 of them. Anyway, so I'm working out here on that deal. I want to know, where did the antenna and transmitter get stolen? What part of Canada? And that's really amazing. Somebody steals 200 foot tower. So, and by the way, I watch Love Nature on Canadian TV. We were on there last night watching it. So I watch your Canadian TV. K6PKL.
Yeah, Bill, let me tell you, man. I watch U.S. TV, and it's difficult because here, where I live, we have Rogers and we have Bell, and those are the 2 companies that really kind of govern what we can see network-wise on TV, and those are the 2 big ones. And anybody smaller than them has to basically subscribe to one of those 2, so we don't get a lot of U.S. stuff here. Other than the news outlets, you know, like Fox and ABC and CBS and stuff like that. We can get the news, no problem, but we can't get any other real channels, you know, and networks and stuff like that here, so I get you. Bill, do you play, before we move on, do you play any musical instruments? Do you play drums, guitar, bass?
The answer is no. I'm going to tell you a little story. When I was in grade school, I had a flutophone, and I thought I played pretty good. So I go in there and audition, and the guy says, you better give this up. He says, you're really bad. And I said, well, I sound pretty good. I thought I did, but that's what I say about that. So I have no musical ability. So no, I don't play musical instruments. I was told to give it up. K6PKL. And anyway, so, yeah, well, you know, I want to make one other comment. Buy an internet TV box, and then you could subscribe to a server at about $10 a month, and you have all the channels in the world. K6PKL.
Yeah, Bill, I'm a cheap Canadian. I don't want to pay anybody for anything. So, you know, no, not going to happen. I got a little Google Chrome TV box thingy, and I got some networks and stuff in it, and it's completely free, and that's what I do. But for the real good stuff, I mean, you got to pay for that, man. Come on. I'm a cheap ham. You need a break. Anyway, thanks, Bill. Thanks for joining us today. We're at the bottom of the list, so this is the final call for this week's TransCanada Net. My name is James, and my call sign is Victor Alpha 3 Juliet Papa X-Ray. Any final check-ins, please call now with the call sign twice phonetically, followed by your name.
Kilo Bravo 8, Bravo Mike Yankee Mobile.
Golf Mike 0, Uniform Bravo, GM 0, UUB.
Okay, hold it right there. The Kilo Bravo 8 station, can you call just one more time? I didn't catch the suffix.
Yeah, call here is Kilo Bravo 8, Bravo Mike Yankee. Kilo Bravo 8, Bravo Mike Yankee, KD8. Mike. I'm in Lacey, Washington. Good morning.
All right, Mike, we got you in there. KD8BMY. Sorry, hang on. I gotta look at my monitor more closely here. I'm rearranging my shack, by the way, and things are all over the place. So Kilo Bravo 8, I think it is. Yeah, there we go. Bravo, Mike Yankee. And the other station we got is Golf Mike 0, Uniform Bravo. So we got you in there as well, into the log. Anybody else?
Number 4, Uniform, Papa Charlie, in 4, UPC, in and out, please.
Okay. Ron, we got you, VA3RLG. The other station ending in Uniform Bravo Charlie, try again.
Yeah, Scott. This is the other Scott. Over on D-Drop in. November 4, Uniform, Papa Charlie. In 4, UPC. I'll be in and out, please. Thanks, sir.
Victor Alpha 3, Lima Delta Kilo. Larry.
Okay, the last station, I think the name was David. I'm not sure. Scott, N4 UPC, I did get you. You're in the log. We'll come to you in just one second. The last station was at David's. Please try again with the call sign phonetically twice and your name. Not hearing anything. I'll give a final call one more time before we go. Let's see here. You know what? I lost track. Who was the last call? I put a space here, but I think I messed it up. Bill, did I get you PKL?
Yes, you did, but I want to make one more comment. If you want to be cheap, we use Pluto. You can do that on Internet TV. K6PKO.
Yeah, okay. All right, Bill. Yeah, no, I have Pluto and have Plex as well. Anyway, let's talk about that after the net. I'm losing track here. We have close to 40 check-ins right now. So I'm kind of running a little thin here. So this is the last of it, folks. So Bill, thank you. Mike, did I get you in there, Mike?
If you're referring to KB8BMY, I'm not sure. Over.
Yes, it is you, Mike. Sorry about that. Kilo Bravo 8, Bravo Mike Yankee. I've been a net controller for years, but the TransCanada Net is one on its own, and we have a lot of check-ins. We're approaching 40 right now, so I'm kind of losing track a bit. So anyway, do you play a musical instrument, Mike? And if so, what is it? And are you a hobbyist with it, or are you semi-pro or pro?
Yeah, okay, real good, Matt. Let's see, I've played instruments in the past, not currently. I've got a piano right now, I can play that. In high school, I played the clarinet, and let's see what else I can play, guitar. And I don't play professionally, it's just for fun. And that's pretty much it as far as what I play. Right now I'm just outside of Olympia, Washington. We have 11 degrees and rain. And let's see, what else? We're mobile. We're in the Starbucks line here. Just waiting to get some Starbucks. She sent me out for a Starbucks run. So, but anyway, still have the piano. The clarinet, I can read music. The others I play by ear, except for the...
All right, folks, let me get this camera turned around here. So it's been a good net so far. I hope to be in rotation with this net soon. But now I have to go rotate outside and get some of this, the winter stuff out and the summer stuff in. So I'm going to be letting everybody go. It's been about an hour and a half on here. Thanks everybody for watching. Bernard, Eric, let's see who else is on here. Michael, Tony, Peter, and Devin. And I'll see you guys later. This is Victor Alpha 3 Echo Whiskey Victor, and we are clear.